From ABC News, this is the Western edition of Good Morning America. Now, from Times Square in New York, weekend anchors Bill Weir and Kate Snow.
All right, today's pet clinic, I want to introduce you to somebody. My name is Louie, and I need a home. And what is this little guy's name?
This is Antoinette.
Antoinette, and look how Louie loves Antoinette.
Oh.
Who wouldn't want this little dog or this little cat? What a tolerant cat. The Humane Society of New York has both of these beautiful animals, and they're for adoption. So you should know that, first of all. Second of all, dog days of summer, where does that come from? I know now. Roman times, the Dog Star series used to come out the same time during the summer, so they'd say you can see the Dog Star, summertime, dog days of summer. Star doesn't come out the same time anymore, so we should never use that phrase again. But what we should do is get tips about how to keep our pets cool. Nobody better to do that than Dr. Marty Becker. Let's start off with this. Something that I said that I didn't understand, surprise, surprise. The dogs that are most at risk during the heat, not necessarily the old dogs or the puppies, but dogs like mine, Jack Russell Terriers, short-snouted dogs.
Short-snouted dogs. Overweight dogs, but short-snouted dogs are the worst. So like my daughter Mikkel has pug puppies. So
Okay.
Pug puppies, Boston Terriers, Bulldogs. Dogs, you know, humans sweat to get rid of excess heat. Dogs pant. And the pushed-in breeds are the world's worst panters, so they can't get rid of heat, so you have to be very careful around them.
Longer the nose, better the panter. All right, I get it now. Great, great. All right. Oh, another misconception or conception. Shaving the dog helps keep it cool. True or false?
That's true for the right kind of breeds. Like if you have Old English Sheepdog, a Malamute, the really thick-haired dogs, you don't do a Bruce Willis. You don't shave them, but you do a crew cut about 1 inch long. But other dogs, even like this dog or this cat, you keep them groomed very well. So they don't have mats, they have clean coats, then the natural cooling mechanisms can work.
Great. 2 tips for keeping pets cool is where you keep them in and lots of fresh water. We know that, but give us some of the tips about helping make this happen the best way.
2 biggest things for summertime is shade and cool fresh
Shade and
water.
cool
So
water.
shade. If you put a dog outside by itself, it's going to find its own shade. It'll seek shade, but some people will tie them up or put them in a portable pen. The sun shifts, the shade shifts. So I like, you know, pet tents, these portable pet homes like this because the shade stays there. And inside, dogs often go to tile or concrete that's cool.
Sure.
This is a new bed called the Duo-Temp Pet Bed by Dolce Vita. What's cool about this is it
Good
actually...
tell on that, by the way. Dual temp pet bed by Dolce Vita.
You like
Very
that?
Nicely done.
It actually has a little thermoelectric motor in here that either heats or cools. So the summertime, it actually has not just the ambient air, but it actually cools the air, and it goes through these channels right here. So the pet's
Very
laying on there
nice.
and it's warm and it's actually cool to the touch. In the wintertime or arthritic pet, you flip the switch, 20 minutes later, it's actually warm to the touch.
Very smart, but not cheap. And if you're like me, tighter than 2 coats of paint, what can you do? What's the cheap way?
All right, here's the thing that costs nothing. Again, my daughter Mikkel, what she'll do is freeze 2-gallon jugs full of ice water, just put a towel around it, put it in the pet's bed. It's like a hot water bottle in reverse.
Very nice. I like it. Now, water, very important. Big screaming note for cats. Very important thing to remember also. Take us through that.
Cats and dogs are all drawn to running water. So these pet fountains like this Fresh Flow here, it's oxygenated, has a filter in it. As the pet drinks, the reservoir automatically fills it up. But one of the things you see all the time is people see the cat that's urinating more or not going to the litter box. And people think of that as a behavioral problem. So they take the pet to the shelter rather than taking it to the veterinarian because it's actually a medical condition called feline lower urinary tract disease. Number 1 reason we see cats in a veterinary hospital besides vaccinations. Here's what you do for it. You make sure they drink a lot of water, so use things like a Fresh Flow fountain. You feed them several times a day rather than one big meal. And there's special diets available from your veterinarian. Here's 3 examples right here.
Good.
And what they do is they cause the cat to drink more water and to urinate more, so it flushes the urinary system out, and it maintains a very narrow urine pH so you don't get the crystals that cause the feline lower urinary
Very
tract
nice.
disease.
Something you have to be aware of if you have a cat. Okay, and?
Well, you said 29 million people travel with their pets. This is kind of the new variation on the Sky Kennels. So you don't just have this for flying or for traveling. You actually use it for camping. You tie these down with these straps right here. It has a moat inside, so if a pet has an accident, if it urinates or spills its water, it doesn't get wet. There you go.
What's the matter? She wanted to leave. She didn't like the idea of traveling, except to your home, which is why you should go adopt the pet at the Humane Society of New York, along with him. So these are great tips. Also, identification, very important when you travel, right?
One last thing. On your permanent ID tag, don't have your home phone, but also have your cell phone. I like these little temporary ID tags. You can get them there like for a keychain. You put on their traveling reward on one side, on the other side, the hotel or your relative's house you're staying at, and that way if they find it, you'll get it back while you're traveling.
Dr. Marty, great tips as always. Reward will certainly help get anything back. And remember, You see the beautiful little dog, you saw little Antoinette, the Humane Society of New York, that's where they are. You can go for these tips and others to our website at abcnews.com, but the dogs are at the Humane Society of New York, so know that. When we come back, the ultimate 10-minute workout. Are you ready for the gyro gym? You are! Woo! Let's put the doggy in there and spin him around.